broadcast is live.
Peace, peace, peace. Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born Line. Y'all see who we got in the building. We got the soul craftsman, master craftsman in the building. The one of one, the first of his kind. You understand what I'm saying? Do not adjust your TV screen, your cell phone, or your laptop. We got the man with a myriad of talents, and we're here to talk about them all. We're gonna break them down today. Y'all gonna get this Soulcraft, soul playing, cellular session today. You understand what I'm saying? So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others, and give y'all Sunday school on a goddamn Monday.
On a Monday turning into a Tuesday. It's
Monday turning.
Whoop.
It's going up on a Tuesday right now here on House Radio.
What?
The man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Enqi Sangreal in the building.
Yeah, I like that. It's definitely going up on a Tuesday.
That's it. That's it. We're not getting into no long intro. We got the one and only time this will ever happen on Do the Knowledge Radio. We got a smoke session / soul sonic Soulcraft session going on.
Man, you said soul sonic. You really trying to take it back.
I'm about to take that shit back to the woo right now. You know, I never ever called and asked you to play something. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
You know what I want to hear. I want to hear that before we say anything. I want to hear that. I want to see that video joint right now. I don't want to say nothing else. Let's do that. Let's get right into that right now.
Hold up. Yo, let me tell you the craziest part about the video. At least from what the feedback I'm getting. People is like, yo, Enqi did a special effect where he got the gun. And like people was like, yo, I literally felt like the bullet came and grazed. Like they like, yo, I felt like the bullet came past my ear. Like,
dodge this.
Right. Just in case it was unclear if it was a shot. Shot is fired.
It's going down live right now.
Yo, A.A. Rashid is with Griselda. Yo, this joint is on all streaming platforms, and I just want to thank everybody because this joint here got over 1,000 streams on Spotify already, and I really appreciate everybody for that because Spotify is like the YouTube of music. Spotify got your numbers up there so you could see how many plays the song is getting. So this joint got over 1,000, and that's like a big deal on Spotify. Like 90% of the songs that go up there don't get 1,000 views. This joint got 1,000 views in less than like a week or two. So I just want to thank everybody for that. But let's get in there. Yo, A.A. Rashid is with Griselda. Oh, it's about that time to start robbing them now. If I jack for life for them cars, you know how he go. He stunting rentals. Yo, A.A. Rashid is with Griselda. Oh, it's about that time to start robbing them now. If I jack for life for them cars, you know how he go. He stunting rentals. I might get knocked by the Revo. Plus he snitching. That's new cars and probation. I'ma have to rob Sonetta old ass for them YouTube donations. Once I start robbing niggas, you gon' see the bitch come out rich. He gon' try to hide behind Cam Bottom and Professor Griff. For real, add more niggas to the pot. That's how you spoil these. I'm taking Cam's CD money and Soleil royalties. Rich gon' try to pull the pills over this pistol shit. But that's only gon' get the niggas robbed for like crystal shit. Rich gon' call Supernova next, but I can handle the ball. I wait for him to go OT and sneak rob the store. I ain't tussling with that nigga. He got a couple screws loose. For real, King Simon is a puppy. He the conscious clues now. He a big dog and an elder, so I'm sorry, but you and Lloyd laying down for that numerology, though. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son, shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son, shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. Mama Bill gon' call me on the phone like he was us. I'ma just rush her off the phone and send her. I hope Rizzy 19 and Ben don't think I'm fucking. I'm tying Muslim niggas up for that bean pie money. We kidnapping Wesley for ransom like a movie. He got Farrakhan fuck around and say keep him. He got Nuri Muhammad, Billy Carson, building this bag. But I'm a pistol with that nigga. He be stealing my swag. If you waiting for me to rob Unc and Chief, you don't know tricks. It's way too much heat trying to rob the police. Now when I catch the barbecue, people think I'm tripping. I'm giving my Israelites the description. Get everything Egyptian. Robin Curtis caught easy. Still on Cosby pudding around the black dot for IP and antique video footage. We kicking in Garfield door looking for finance profit. But we ain't find nothing but two other programs in this closet. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son, shit get different when the rabbit got the gun.
Come on, we're gonna get the shit. Look at the shit. What the fuck are we gonna get, bro? What the drugs at? I'm not coming. Shut the fuck up! I told you the fucking drug, man. What the fuck are we here for? No, we finna come here. What the fuck are we here? What are we here for? We're finna get these donations. We get the conscience books. Take that shit back to Dr. Enqi. Who the fuck is Dr. Enqi? Man, Dr. Enqi, man, come on, you don't give a fuck. Nigga, you got me here for some goddamn donations. What the fuck you doing, nigga? I'm not here for no shit like that. What's wrong with you? I'm talking about some conscience books. You're gonna get all the links, all the money. I don't know the books. No, take it back to Dr. Enqi. We're gonna do it. Why we got to do nothing? Why we got to do nothing? You're gonna squeeze. We're gonna take it back to Dr. Enqi. Fuck you talking about? You didn't know the fuck shit, stupid. So what about it, man? You know what the fuck you looking for? So what you doing? You know how to get the shit? No, nigga, I'm about to go, bro. You got me fucked up, man. Nigga, I'm not doing that with no goddamn Enqi. That little shit. Where y'all sit? Stupid ass. Hey, man. Where you in? Oh, boy. Fuck you. Where you going, bro? Come on, bro. Oh, hell no. Oh, what the fuck, bro? Come on, stupid ass.
This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. Professor Smalls get it too. His pockets large enough, but that nigga wow. He wound up robbing us to get back on my feet. I caught Jack Hassan Luxury V. I robbed Jack Frost and Queens Flip with they interviewee. Jack Frost said, yo, we family. How you get me? You know how shit be. I ain't want Flip to think you was with me. We got pulled over, somebody snitching. From my perspective, I did a double take. Oh shit, Bro Sanchez, the detective. We had to bail out, nigga. I couldn't believe shit. So we caught Shaka for 10K and extensions and weed kits. I saw St. Cole for a flip with smack gloves and I robbed them niggas and gave Party family half the book. Reggie was crying when he saw the iron like, ayo, chill. I caught 20 pounds of DMT from Gano Grills. I tried to rob Cyrock. He said he pointing the gun barrel, but he ain't have nothing in his crib but pictures of young Pharaoh. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son, shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. This ain't serious. Being conscious can make you delirious. So we live and have fun, but I'm just saying, son, shit get different when the rabbit got the gun. Should've had you tripping like you be bugging like. Y'all thought these niggas was conscious. They think it's wild. They think, yo, these niggas violate niggas. They scamming, grabbing money. Yo, niggas out here grabbing pussy like Trump. Niggas got whole prostitutes on their YouTube pages and all that. Yo, this shit get crazy. Y'all get somebody gotta do something about this shit. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is going on right now? This shit wild out here, man. It's just like the wild, wild west out here. You know what I mean? Like, niggas doing anything to anybody out here, man. Gotta be some repercussions. Umar, don't think we forgot about you. You heard? Make sure that money go on them school books and them school chairs and all that. You know what I'm talking about? The first little Debbie you purchase We coming to get the rest of that bread, B.
Yo. How did you balance out this song right here? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you, like, what was kind of like the thought process to bring the balance? Because I hear so much in it. You understand what I'm saying? I hear things lyrically. I hear things that's real, and I hear things. You see what I'm saying? So how much did you stir the pot to kind of put this whole thing together?
Good question. Nobody's quite asked me that. That's a good question. I just wanted to make it as real as possible, and speak to the emotions, not just how I was feeling about what's going on in the community, especially the last 10 years, but the way the community feels. And because we got a certain type of community, you know what I'm saying? People want blood. They want somebody's ass to get whooped. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
the people is not like that. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to create a healthier outlet. You know what I'm saying? Where people could have fun and deal with that energy without actually seeing somebody eventually getting their ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? So,
Or worse.
right. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, just putting it together kind of as it came. Because like once I did the first verse, I looked at the first verse and I know how Mama Pill is. So I'm like, okay, so Mama Pill might call, like, if, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking in my mind, like, what would I say to Mama Pill if, you know what I'm saying? So I just realistic, like, I just rush her off the phone and send her a cut. You know what I'm saying? like you did with the OGs back in the days. If you did something crazy in the neighborhood, there was some OGs in that neighborhood that you had to make that okay with, and then they would in turn make it okay with the neighborhood. So I look at Mama Pill as one of those OGs. So I was just more like, you know, I'm gonna just make sure I send her a cut so that, you know, she might turn the blind to me running crazy. And then you know, like I started off the third verse with Professor Smalls. We get it too. His pockets is large enough, but that nigga, wow, he wound up robbing us. Because you know, a lot of the elders getting disrespected and violated. So I kind of threw that in there just as a teaching moment. Like, listen, you can run up on these elders and think you could just violate these elders if you want to. Some of these guys ain't who you think. You know what I'm saying? You run up on
Perfect one.
Man, you run up on the
That is
wrong
the perfect one.
man.
Fuck around and mistake. Like, that's all facts. That's not. I'm adding some extra shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to put that in there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all getting so crazy with all this loose talk, you know what I'm saying? Let me just, because from my generation, we knew back in the days, you had certain elders that had that quote unquote, you know, that old man strength. You know what I'm saying? They put that handshake on you, you'd be there like, all right, Mr. Such and Such. All right, Mr. Such and Such. You know what I'm saying? Then they, you know, walk you on upstairs. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed that in the community, the respect is just not there. It's crazy. So, you know, in terms of giving people a figurative way of penalizing some of the people that we've been watching their morals go down the tubes, I wanted to highlight some other stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just Mama Pill as an OG and Smalls as an ex-warrior, and to use him to represent some of the other elders. Like, yo, you know, we got a warrior. We got, you know, we still had a warrior class. Like, we got to make sure, you know. So, you know, it was a couple of things in there. I just wanted to make them all realistic. You know what I'm saying? And let that energy come across. And then also, with people knowing me as minister and doctor, and besides minister and doctor, it's family man and father.
Right.
So I wanted to show people also, like, you can't just take people's kindness for weakness. You don't know who you you dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And not just seeing me in the ski mask with the hammer, but when you dealing with these people, you know, you scamming, you conning, you doing all you don't know who it is that you playing with out there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only by grace of God that we haven't seen something crazy in the community yet. And none of us wants that. No matter how much we dislike a person in the community or dislike what they're doing, none of us wants to see nothing real crazy happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's only by grace of God that something hasn't happened to, you know, one or two of these characters yet. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to create a healthy outlet, but then also put those feelings on Front Street so that people can understand, like, hey, now that thread of patience running out now, goddammit. You know, it's time to clean it up. For, you know what I mean? If it don't clean up, it gets cleaned up. You know what I mean? So,
right. So it was a healthy thread of vindication in there as well. So I kind of want that to be pushed to the forefront. You see what I'm saying? So you see that. And then I also want to ask you about, you know, that other balance where you added in another element with some of the social media comedians that you have been working with and entrenching that and adding that part in. Can we go into that?
well, Tweeting Ass Myron is one of my favorites. Him and Haha Davis are my favorites. So both of them kind of wound up on the album. But well, both of them had like every. So let me do it like this. Move this chair out the way. So humor, real humor, not the fake shit that you learn on Nickelodeon and those programming type of shows. Like, oh, he fell. Everyone, ha ha ha. Like, no, not that.
Right.
The gut busting, natural, just laugh out of nowhere. That's actually a neurological process for a couple of different things. One, somebody pull your heartstrings, a way to overcome fear. So there's an actual laughter is more than just having a good time. It's actually neurological. So there's a lot of social media comedians that I rock out with, like Dominique, just a lot. Robbie, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a bunch, you know what I'm saying? But Haha Davis does a character called Pops.
Right.
And my Pops passed. So when I see, like, immediately once I seen his character Pops, that was it. He had me. I was done. But Cheating Ass Myron, now I got exposed to him twice. This is how real his shit is. Now he's branched off into a bunch of other stuff now because his name is getting bigger and he's getting more popular. Originally, I saw one of his videos because his main thing that he used to do was argue. You know what I'm saying? And just create these situations where he's getting caught. His name's Cheating Ass Myron. Where he's getting beaten by a wifey and they like going back and forth at it and she throws him out the house. That was like their main routine. The first time I seen a video of his, it was on WorldStar. I thought it was real. The people that sent it to me thought it was real. They was like, yo, look at this nigga's son just got caught in the pit with his wife going by.
Right.
I'm watching it, we cracking up, rolling. And that was that. You know what I'm saying? Months later, somebody sends me something else. I'm like, yo, how did homeboy get back in? Ain't this the same nigga got thrown out? Like, so then they like, nah, that ain't real. It's his, you know, that's what he do. So then I go on his page, whatever. And later on, we wound up connecting, you know what I'm saying? After I got on the road and started doing tours with Haha Davis and them, I started reaching out to some of the other social media comedians and whatever the case may be. But that type of comedy with making light of, you know, like domestic disputes and domestic abuse and just that whole, it's a part of the hood. You're growing up, either you're going to be a part of it or you're going to see it or both. You know what I'm saying? So it just was so real for me. And then I got my own personal experiences, you know what I'm saying? That it just, I just love his type of comedy, you know what I'm saying? So when I did the song, I immediately I said, okay, hold on. I know what I got to do. I got to put I got to put a little skit in the middle of this joint. I hit him up, and he's always super receptive to, like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, so what you got in mind? You know what I'm saying? You got a script? You got, what do you want me to write this, or you want to write it? So we wound up kind of writing it together, and he put it together in a day, sent that joint right back, and I shot the first half of the video in East Orange, New Jersey, and then I came back to Detroit and shot the second half of the video in Detroit. And then he sent me his piece from I think he sent me his piece from Atlanta, and I put it together, edit. So I'm the videographer, the writer, the director, the you know what I mean, the truth, you know what I mean. I wear a lot of hats. You know what I'm saying. So put it together, and I just, I was like hoping that it would capture, and it did a pretty good job, and you know what I'm saying. So the video is, everything is looking good.
Right. So what's been the reception, thus far? I know you mentioned some numbers. What kind of mind frames you've been dealing with in regards to, what people have been saying. You see what I'm saying? And what did you think about, the finished product when it was done? And how does those match together in regards to the responses you've been getting?
I thought, honestly, because of the subject matter, I thought I was prepared for more blowback than I received. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was already bracing for the, you know what I'm saying, to take it to the next level, you know what I'm saying? But nobody was there, you know what I'm saying? Nobody was there. It was a couple of loose comments made by, Rashid, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it wasn't. And the funny thing is Rashid wasn't even in none of the, like, the verse. Like, he wasn't somebody getting robbed in the song or none of that. So none of what I prepared for in my mind was what I got in return. It was just like 99.9999999% love. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was just like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? We love it. You know what I'm saying? So people really grabbed a hold of it. Even though for the people that was their first introduction to me musically, they still didn't like buy in. They still didn't buy in. They was like, oh, okay, so like, we were lost for words. Like, so Ski Mask? Are we doing Ski Mask? Dr. Ski Mask? Should we call you Dr. Ski Mask? Nigga, like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were just taken back by it. Just like totally taken back. So when I sat down with the family to figure out what would be the second single, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to put out something, honestly, I wanted to put out something bar heavy with a lot of entendres and wordplay. Because that's what I'm known for, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I said, this is a secular song, meaning it's not something that the whole world can enjoy as much as the conscious community, because the whole world doesn't know all of the names and the history and the background. So some people won't get it. You know what I'm saying? They'll hear the song and be like, oh, okay, I get the idea, but who are these people? You know what I'm saying? So like, the second song has to kind of be something that's going to really be everybody kind of song, and kind of, the opposite of that, because I don't know if all DJs would be able to, and then now DJs, if they're going to play it, college campuses and stuff like that, they're going to show you visual, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't know if Ski Mask with the, like, that may not work out, you know what I'm saying? So let me put out something off the album as a counterbalance to that. And so that's where you get AI, which is a fun song that came out of a kind of me and Chase just kicking it about girls, and explain to him how, it's a wild world that y'all coming up in, you know what I'm saying? Because now, by the time you get grown, I'm explaining to him, I'm like, bro, by the time you get grown, you can't, like, y'all not even going to be able to enjoy yourself and run wild. Like that whole Soya Royal Oaks type of vibe. Like when you 17, 18, 19, you're just out there going, you can't even do that. Like it's gotten, over the years, it's got more and more restrictive. Like my pops was telling me this because he's thinking in his mind about AIDS and stuff like that. Now I can tell chasing my children, my boys, you know, you guys aren't even going to know girls from men.
real shit.
If Dwayne Wade is comfortable with changing his son, who's a child, sex, that the world that Dwayne Wade lives in, that's already a thing. That's already a vibe. That's already a thing that's going on. So you're gonna have people like the majority of my children. And I was saying this on another show. I forgot which. But the majority of my children I had with one woman. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like a guy with 10 children with 10 baby moms. You know what I'm saying? I had 8 children with one lady. You know what I'm saying? So you run into a situation. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because that was my high school sweetheart. So these children growing up, they may be in a situation where they with their high school sweetheart. Let me turn my volume down if it's too crazy. They may be with their high school sweetheart, and in their 20s, you know, they decide to start trying to make a baby and realize, hey, she's not getting pregnant. You know, what's going on? And you might think it's you, and she might be like, nah, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to reveal the fact that when I was 9 or I was born as a boy, but then, you know, 9, 10, 11 years old, I turned into, you know, Jamel became, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
that Ricky Lake, Jerry Springer shit, that fucking Richard Bates
version, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, you know what I'm saying? It's hard on the little G's coming up now, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got this girl you fell in love with in high school, then you find out later on, you know what I'm saying? Because for us, we kind of dealt with some of that vibe, but, you know, we could check Adam's apple or, you know, check your mom's, you know, like, let's see some pictures when you was young.
Yeah.
But now if they doing this when they young as children, when you look at the child pictures, you're going to see a little, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, this is, so me and him just having this whole conversation. I'm talking about catfish because you also gotta, think about
the virtual aspect. Yeah.
You know, they play in the video game, so that's another piece to it. So I was telling them, like, you know, catfishing is a thing that happens in different levels. You know what I'm saying? So there's a one level of catfish where somebody shows you like for me, I could show you a picture from 2 or 3 years ago where my 6-pack was super bricked up. And then I pop up to your crib and shorty like, yo, where that 6-pack at? I'm like, oh, it's just, you know, I got more, you know, it's a, you know, it's a one, you know, it's a one pack now. You know
I'm laughing in the car. It's over there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We ain't drinking tonight, you know what I'm saying? But that's still a form of catfishing. I'm still misrepresenting myself if I do that. But, you know, there's more levels to it where it gets progressively more dangerous, where somebody can be catfishing you to get personal information, to steal something, scam you, go on your bank account, rob you, whatever, you know, break in your house. Then it goes even further to pedophiles and kidnapping and all of that kind of stuff with catfishing. So that's kind of where, you know, I put some, because I just want to be able to create conversations with the music. You know what I'm saying? I still want to give a certain vibe and energy, but I want to be able to create intelligent conversation. So that's where the song is like, is that your real icon? You know what I'm saying? That's the whole first thing. And as I'm going through the chorus, I got like little pictures on the side to kind of sing along to. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I was thinking about like when I was in elementary school, they used to show those cartoons at lunchtime when it was raining outside or something, you couldn't go outside. And they used to have like the bouncing ball, whatever. So anyway, that's where the thought came from. But instead of actually having like an icon or anything. When I say that part, matter of fact, we'll play the video so you can see.
Right.
But I got a catfish there. You know what I'm saying? So people was like, yo, why do you have a catfish there? I was like, because that's the name of the game. People play that catfishing game. So is that your real icon? It's giving me a python. I think you need to see him. Eggplant to your DM. So that kind of conversation kind of led to us having a conversation about relationships and the internet. You know what I'm saying? Because we used to have to actually pull up on a girl. You know what I'm saying? We used to have to see her in person, catch her at the library, catch her at the supermarket, yo, shorty, yo, mom, yo. And then you might have to put work in. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have to find out where she's at on a regular basis. Like she comes home from school this way. So you might have to be posted up on that route every time she come home from school and make it pretend like you're not right there waiting for her. You just so happen to be there. Oh, shit, what you? Oh, okay. So where your boy? You ain't got no boyfriend? Oh, let me welcome to the building. You know what I mean? Like you had to.
Young stalker all day.
Man. And so now it's the internet vibe and the DM and everything is electronic and it's really not a lot of hands-on. And, you know, so we just kicking it. And then, you know, I just got the beat. Shout out my guy Tybo Audio from Washington. From your old town, you know what I'm saying? Over there on the West Coast. And bam, drop the song, you know what I'm saying? So the song, when you hear it, it's got a lot of things that you can pull out to create conversation, you know what I'm saying? Vegan, body augmentation, sex dog, just a lot of advanced conversations. But when you hear the song, none of that stuff really presents itself and jumps out. It's a fun song. There's no cuss words. You know what I'm saying? It's a cool vibe. But when you dig into it, it's some conversations that you can pull out of it and, you know, really have some other, you know, some mental stimulation as well.
So let's play the song, and then I want to come back and talk about writing. You know, I got some writing questions for you. Yeah. After that, so let's play the joint.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
So if y'all got questions, comments, if y'all on YouTube, if y'all on Facebook, where we at in Facebook, y'all need to come to YouTube and ask these questions so Dr. Enqi can see them. You understand?
Oh,
so
we on Facebook and YouTube?
Yeah. Got coordinate. Shout out to Pops. Got coordinate. You understand what I'm saying?
Swaggy with it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
You can see it?
Oh, yeah, you good.
Okay, my bad.
Artificial intelligence. Is that your real icon? It's giving me a python. I think you need to see. Artificial intelligence. Is that your real icon? It's giving me a python. I think you need to see him. Eggplant to your DM. You always know what to say, so I'ma put it on you in the worst way. That DHA got that melanin shaking. I pour my spear for that shake. The friends is baking. Listen. Even if it's silicone or belly fat, I got a vegan substitute for that biscuit with a jelly at. I'm looking forward to drinking your juices. This Wi-Fi feels so exclusive. Is that your real icon? It's giving me a python. I think you need to see him. Eggplant to your DM. You remind me of my sex doll. I'ma have to confess, y'all. My sex doll is perfect. She know just how to work it. Only static blow a circuit. I'll never have to jerk it. Custom design is plastic surgery. For a soulmate, the price was burglary. Slide a step, 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 slide a step. Come on, slide a step, slide a step, slide a step. Slide a step, come on, slide a step, slide a step, slide a step, slide a step, come on. Is that your real icon? It's giving me a python. I think you need to see him. Eggplant to your DM. AI, That's the alkalized line. Step, 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 step.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that joint is still moving. Jesus Christ. Okay, 49. I don't know where I shared it. That shit is gone.
Mm. So let's talk writing. For the people who might be surprised, like you've been lyrically inclined for a while.
Yeah.
What is the shift in thought in between writing books, writing articles, writing scholarly journals, things like that, to some of these other aspects of creativity? Does it come from the same side of the brain, or does it come from the other side of the brain? How you put that together? You understand what I'm saying? Because you know what it takes to write in scholarly language. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you kind of balance it out? You see what I'm saying? I already know you from the BX, so it's in your bloodstream. You
Right.
understand? So
Yeah.
what is the shift?
It's
in that
actually easier because I started off as a youngster with poetry and got into my raps and, was with the music. And so the scholarly writing came later. But it's definitely the same. It's the same process for me. You know what I'm saying? It's the exact same process. I've never not been a notebook guy. So when I write a book, that I usually write it out in a notebook. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got something later. So you'll have, you know what I'm saying? Like this is stuff that became lectures, and so this is lectures and book stuff. So it starts in a notebook, and then it becomes a lecture, or it becomes a book or a class or whatever the case may be. So I'm still like, you know what I'm saying? And that's my foundation for everything. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of these guys, because I know now the cool in thing to say, the cool thing to say is, I don't write rhymes. I don't write rhymes. You know what I'm saying? I don't write nothing down. You know what I'm saying? But that right there it's not a lie when you hear these artists say it, but it's not the truth, right? It's a misleading statement, right? Because where we're from, we know that you either have a written rhyme or it's a freestyle,
right? So
when you say you don't write nothing down, immediately you're giving people the impression that you dropping a freestyle and that you so nice with it that you freestyle in your songs. And that's not the truth. Now, you do have some guys that, they have simpler styles but for the most part, what people are doing when they say they don't write nothing down is they're wasting a lot of time and money in the studio. You know what I'm saying? They need to knock that shit off. That's probably why they having problems budgeting out that advance loan that they get from the label. You know what I'm saying? They spending too much time in the studio wasting time. But what they do is they just basically pull up a chair. You know what I'm saying? They got the engineer sitting there. He put the beat on, and they put the beat on repeat. You section out the section in Pro Tools and let it play in a loop. And so they just sitting there, and instead of doing this at home where they listen to the beat over and over and write down their lines or whatever as they come, instead of writing them down, they say it into the mic and basically punch in through their whole rap. So they'll say a line, a bar or half a bar, and okay, cool, hold up, bring it back. And then they'll punch in another line or another half a line, and they'll punch their way through a verse. To me, it's not efficient time-wise. It's not efficient flow-wise. It's sloppy. And then performance-wise, for a show, it's even sloppier. Because a lot of times you'll have guys, because they punching in, they'll punch through a verse that they actually can't say all the way through because they don't have the breath control to say it all the way through. But they don't know that they don't have the breath control to say it all the way through because they never said it all the way through in the first place. They punched it through. Now, it's some difficult lines. Like, I got a difficult line on one of my songs, and I'm hoping that, you know what I'm saying, when I perform it, you know, all goes well. You know what I'm saying? I got a line that currently the current occurrency cross Christ mass fiscal season. So it's cool when I say it, but in the midst of the verse, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, but I laid it down one take Jake style. Like I put that, you know, one take Jake, bam, whole verse. You know what I'm saying? We don't punching where I'm from was trash. If you had to punch, you know, you wasn't prepared. You know what I'm saying? We didn't believe in punching. You know what I'm saying? No shots to people that punch their raps or whatever the case may be, but we just didn't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? The only reason I'm addressing it is because I don't like that energy people be trying to put off, like as if you write rhymes, that's somehow less than, you know, the people that don't write. You know, I don't have to write anything. You know, I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? You need to write. That shit's kind of, you know, like some of these guys, they be like, yo, you should have spent a little bit more time writing and editing that thing before you recorded that shit. That shit could use a little help. You know what I mean? But nah, for me, the writing process is just supernatural. I just kind of, if the music is good, my verse is instantly, like, it doesn't take me long to write a verse. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be resonance with me and the music. If the music is right, then the music. So that's why if you hear me say I don't write, that's because what I'm referencing is that the music comes through me, and I'm just interpreting the music. The mood of the music is just what carries me, and then bam, the verse is finished. Boom, let's go in the booth and let's go, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So I do know people that takes them a day, 2 days, sometimes to write their verses, whatever the case may be. But for me, it's the same as having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's just like me writing down a conversation. So it's easy.
That's what's up. I got a chance to talk to Killer Priest on one of those rare occasions I caught him. He came through the platform, and I always wanted to know about Heavy Mental. Heavy Mental was one of my favorite joints from Killer Priest of all time.
I was about to
understand? I'm listening to that joint.
That's probably his signature song.
I'm listening to the joint, right? I was like, me and my brother at the time, you know what I'm saying? He was like, we like, yo, that's a freestyle. That's a freestyle. He freestyling. You understand what I'm saying? So he came to the show, and I got a chance to ask him. I was like, yo, was that a freestyle? He was like, yo, funny story. He said on his way back to the island to record it, and he was on the ferry, and he said some of the pages of his notebook.
No, that's crazy.
that you hear the first part, it start off like, you know what I'm saying? The mind, man, heavy mental. Jesus Christ, heavy mental. Today, you know what I'm saying? So you hear it all, information begins to gather in. You see what I'm saying? So you hear it building, and then everything else up to a certain point is off the dome. You see what I'm saying? And everybody loved the song so much. He hate performing it because he,
You know that.
you know,
Yeah.
he hate, yeah. So he just put the mic in the crowd and let everybody else know, because cats know that joint by heart. That is one of them so
That's like one of the
disturbing.
classic signature joints. That's just crazy how that came about. Real quick, I see some of the chat comments. We got a couple of people, and this, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Why do I wear the shades, right? If you look in the shades, right? If you look in the shades, you'll see about, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lights. 14 light bulbs within arm's distance. You know what I'm saying? So I wear the shades to protect my eyes. Like I tell people that all the time. Now, that's not including the blue light coming off this big computer screen that I got to look into to talk to y'all. So I wear the shades for protection. You know what I'm saying? I wear the shades for protection. You know, I just got the attention grabbers once I saw that wearing shades like was driving people crazy. I was like, wait a minute. They do know that I'm a health teacher. Like, why would I stand in front of 20 lights and not protect my eyes? Okay, since y'all want to antagonize me about this shit, let me go find some glasses that'll really drive these folks crazy. You know what I'm saying? I went out looking a couple of days and I didn't find nothing. You know what I'm saying? Then one day we was in the mall and they just so happened to have these crazy joints there with all of the, so I was just like, yeah, put those in the bag. We getting ready to drive these niggas crazy. So, shout out to all the people that are annoyed. Shout out to all the people that complain. I really appreciate that. I honestly, because let me tell you, if you go to a restaurant, I'll just tell it like that, in an analogy. If you go to a restaurant and you order a soup and they bring you the soup tastes like it always tastes. You eat your soup, you pay your bill, you leave the restaurant, you go about your business. If you go to a restaurant and you order soup and they bring you the soup and the soup got a fly in it, not only do you raise hell in the restaurant, but when you leave the restaurant, you tell everybody that you know about that restaurant. Yo, you know that joint over there on such and such? Man, I went up in there, I had the soup, I ordered the split pea joint with the woo. Yo, how they had flies up in my shit, man. I'm telling you, man, don't go up in there, woo. In human nature, what does everybody do? Because they got to test, they got to see it to believe it now. So now you're actually going out doing free promo work for that restaurant because you go tell everybody about the soup. And so now a whole bunch of people that wasn't thinking about that restaurant wind up going to the restaurant to check out the soup. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate all the people who feel like my shades are putting flies in their soup. You know what I'm saying? Because they go out and complain and then the views go up. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the people that are so bothered even more that they have to leave greasy comments in the comment section. That also works to promote the video. Helps the algorithm. So you guys that are insulted, angry, you're not going to take this shit anymore, please feel free to let me know how crazy and ridiculous my glasses look in the comments section, and go ahead and hit the thumbs up while you're at it.
Hit the fucking thumbs up button.
Hit the thumbs up. Come on. Stop this shit. People sit there and watch the video for a goddamn hour and don't click the thumbs up. Like, nigga, if you ain't like, get your ass out of here in the first 2 minutes. What you doing here for an hour? You ain't click the thumbs up. It's just madness. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got to pay for that shit. Like, we ain't asking your credit card number, nigga. Hit the goddamn thumbs up or get off the video. It's crazy. You got to raffle niggas down into a liking the video and shit. Like, hit the thumbs up, mother. crazy shit.
Now, since you said wrestling, let's talk about this science of the soul craft. You understand? Let's talk about the science of the soul craft inception. Um, Before we get into it, actually, how did you feel about the responses? I saw the articles in the magazines, things like that, like the gravitation. You see what I'm saying? The transformation. Like let's walk through that.
Blown
You see what
away.
I'm saying? Through
Blown
that.
away.
Let's walk.
There's no words that I could put together for to describe how I felt, and it's an ongoing process because every day there are people watching the documentary for the first time, or they're watching some portion of the documentary for the first time. You know, if maybe they just watched the forward, they just watched chapter 1 or chapter 2. Right now, it's chapter 4 is up, the Philadelphia Experiment, and I'm gonna do chapter 5 live in Detroit, August 9th at Baba Kalindi's event, the Entheogen conference. So we're building up to that because I'm doing like a series of videos called Soulcraft Music School. So I'm just having these conversations because I want people to be a little bit more familiar with electromagnetic waves. So you guys don't realize that, okay, you have these sciencey conversations about electromagnetic radiation, 5G and all this stuff. Just understand that entire science came out of studying music and sound. So there's a whole nother way to approach those more complex subject matters. You know what I'm saying? Equilibrium. We just saw that on a large stage with Deontay Wilder bleeding out his ear, right? He was bleeding out his ear and his leg was crazy because his equilibrium was gone because his ear was damaged. Well, the definition of equilibrium is bringing electromagnetic waves together in harmony. So that's what your ears do. That's why the same calcium crystal that you have in your pineal gland, you actually have 2 of those calcium crystals in each ear. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of your the vestibular apparatus. You know what I'm saying? And then to top it off, you are a little bit more, you know, this will hit you in a different way than the general public, but next to inside the vestibular apparatus, you also have 3 arcs.
Mm-hmm.
3 arcs that are set at right angles to each other.
Mm-hmm. Sacred geometry.
The geometry inside your ear is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? But that's where your equilibrium comes from. You know what I'm saying? And it's all based on electromagnetic waves. So it's not just hearing is a lot more than just sound, because there's a lot to hearing that has to do with things that you can't hear. It's not audible, but you still pick up those waves of pressure and bring them together and convert them into electricity and then light. So that's kind of where the title of the album comes from. Sound becomes light.
All right. So let's unpack this journey that you then took us on thus far. You know, uh, many of us have read, many of us have watched the documentary thus far. So let's take it through the mind. Like, what was the inception, and what uh, research question or questions led you on this journey in that regard?
Um, Good question. It's a lot of different things that brung me towards the documentary and the album. For a lot of people, they don't know the album is a part of the documentary. It's the soundtrack to the documentary. So some of the background music to some of the chapters are actually songs on the album. You know what I'm saying? But there's just a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? The whole if one were to compare Sabi to anyone, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the comments. Now, a lot of people ask me like, they like, Ogun is not the god of herbs and woo 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 woo. Why did you? Ogun is the god of iron and defense, war. Sebi, his first research facility was the Ogun research. Like if you go back to that court case, Ogun. So there's a lot of reasons why I tell people all the time that Sebi literally was Ogun, like in the flesh coming to us. Because when you look at real self-defense, right? Real self-defense, we think of martial arts. But self-defense, martial arts is later on. The first most intrinsic form of self-defense is your immune system.
Talk about it.
And so when you talk about that, the most important thing to your immune system before you get to the NRF2 system is making sure you have your redox system in order. Redox is reduction and oxidation. And that's based on iron and copper, right? Iron is the magnetic piece and copper is the electric piece. And so Ogun has a lot more to do with your biology than you've been led to believe. So being the god of iron makes Ogun also the god of your blood cells, because it's iron that carries the oxygen, the life, the light, the magnetism all throughout your body. So there would be no, you couldn't even live. You wouldn't even be alive. No, life wouldn't even, we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for that iron. And iron, as we know, is not even from this planet. Iron comes down to this planet. So there's a lot more, you know. It's just people with surface level understanding, they might have a little problem. But anyway, getting back to your thing, you know what I'm saying? People in the chat, they're trying to get me on a tangent, but there's a lot that kind of led.
Smoking?
Huh?
I said, apply yourself, Smoking.
Man,
like
you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of stuff that, one of the main things I wanted to do was bring this whole new generation back in tune with some of the more ancient traditions, because a lot of the stuff we looking for answers to, we already had answers for.
Right.
You know, we running around looking for answers to stuff that's been around here for that. Like, this is why our ancestors created institutions of initiation. This is why they took it upon themselves to build a global network of pyramids with, you know, they would etch science into these 200, you know, like, it's like to the level of importance that they put on the information that they transcribed into these monuments and we call megaliths and you know, some of this crazy stuff that we're running around like we don't understand. You know, a lot of it is because we don't understand the importance of the information, and some of the things we just take for granted, like music. You know, so we look at music, and the Greeks, the Romans, you know how they play that game. They attribute stuff, and this you know, this is one of my pet peeves. You know what I'm saying? But because I've studied Pythagoras for years and years because of my love for music. You know what I'm saying? The way my brain works, I can't like something without studying it. But there's zero proof that Pythagoras actually lived. You know what I'm saying? There's no bones, there's no books, there's no pictures, there's no drawing, there's no nothing. There's no signature, there is nothing. There is no proof. There is way less proof that Pythagoras lived than any character of the Bible. But our people spend more time debating whether the characters in the Bible really lived or not than Pythagoras. And for me, the world we live in with all this technology, I would think that energy would be better spent unraveling the Pythagoras story and why Pythagoras is being propped up. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's something we gotta deal with. Like, Pythagoras is credited with the right angle, the square. He's credited with the triangle science. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. So there's no proof that Pythagoras actually lived, but we're going to credit him with science and mathematics from triangles when we got these big ass things sitting right here in the desert. Didn't they say, we don't know if Egyptians knew anything about music? We don't know. There's no proof that they, even though we can see glyphs with them playing instruments and harpers chord and like dancing and all that, we don't know how in depth their knowledge of music went. See, these things trouble me. For the average person, it doesn't trouble them because they're not smart enough to know that people are thinking that you're stupid. You have to be smart enough sometimes to know when people are playing you to be stupid. So if you understand construction is about two things: electromagnetic waves and pressure waves. That's what construction is about. So when you put a building up, the building has to be able to withstand pressure and electromagnetic radiation. If it can't withstand them or is not built good, that building's going to come down peacefully. And this is what we have today. So this is why the modern buildings always need maintenance. You always see guys with scaffolds up fixing these buildings, putting the re-bricking, re-siding. You even have bricking and facing businesses because the construction is so shabby. Proof that in Kemet they mastered music is because the pyramids were built with such harmony that they are able to withstand any natural pressure, electromagnetic, all of the natural forces. Those natural forces are electromagnetic and pressure based. So the fact that those pyramids are able to stand there through all manner of weather and natural disaster demonstrates the level of understanding how to bring pressure and waves together in harmony in the construction. And this is kind of what was alluded to when they say the Templars came back with some secrets and then all of a sudden they built these big temples and cathedrals and woo, woo, woo. That's based on musical harmony. This is why you got 3 arcs in each ear. And if you look at all the construction, you have these arcs and, we just don't know how great we don't know how great we really are. So we don't really we don't know our own worth. So a part of me putting the documentary together was really to walk people backwards, so to speak, in time a little bit, so that we would be able to know our value. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, know our value, know your worth. You can't know your worth. Like, we got people in the music business, right? We got 2 questions come out of the music business. 2 questions come out of the music business. How come rappers keep getting killed? And how come we haven't figured out this contract shit yet? Like, how we still broke, or how we don't, what's up with these contracts and how come the rappers keep getting killed? The problem is that we are the people who create the music. We're the stars of the music, but we don't know anything about music. And we know even less about the music business, because the music business is about banks and technology companies. Period. It's not really about music. You know what I'm saying? We gotta, so it's a bunch of stuff that kind of led me down that road. And then, all of these things were kind of linked together. So even with the Rabbit Got the Gun video, people looking like, oh man, ski mask and a gun, this is crazy. I thought you was a healer. I'm like, see, you don't really know your history. The healers was the warriors. Like, how we separating the warrior class from the healers? Like, what is happening now? Like, we got these ideas in our mind of being frail and being weak, and we apply them on each other all the time. And so when we see somebody kind of doesn't fit that mold, it takes us back and we confused at what we see. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like me constantly trying to, break the mold and show people you got to really look at what's inside versus the wrapping of the gift. You know, it's about what's in the box, not the wrapping and the ribbon. You know what I'm saying? So I'll never forget. I was doing a lecture, and I ain't gonna say where, but I was doing a lecture, and you know, I show up how y'all see me on the screen now. You know what I'm saying? Sweatpants, t-shirt, talk my shit. And so I'm coming somewhere to do a lecture, and I'm bringing my books and my, you know, the herbs and all this stuff. I got a whole bunch of boxes and whatever. And so the person greets me, the person who brung me in to do the lecture. So this is not like a person that's not supposed to, like, doesn't know who I am. This is the person who contacted me and said, hey, I'd love if you could come out here and do a lecture and blah, blah, blah. Person's like, hey, are you just working for Dr. Enqi, or are you like with the delivery? Are you with the post office? So like, I was like, no, I'm just working for Dr. Enqi. I'm just here to bring his boxes in. I went along with the shit. You know how I'm not, I don't wrestle with people like that. You know what I'm saying? What you work for Dr. Enqi? I'm like, sure do. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to bring the boxes in. The very next day I showed back up to do a lecture, and the person was mumble mouth like, yeah, you're bad. Moving forward. Yep. Let's get this joint set up so we can, you know what I'm saying? Because people have this idea still, even people that's supposed to be woke, people that's supposed to be conscious, they still have these institutionalized ideas. So you can't be a doctor or a professor and have on jeans and a t-shirt. You can't have on sweatpants and be a doctor, because it's just, oh my God, how can that? No, it's just a set of information. You either know the information or you don't. It doesn't have anything to do with your outfit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, how can he be in music and be a doctor? What is it? What is this? This must be. What do you mean? What the hell happened? Like, of course you can be a doctor and be in music, and be a swimmer, or play golf, or so people have to get out of these ways of thinking and these stereotypes that we put on ourselves that limit our growth. You know what I'm saying? Let alone how we put stereotypes on other people. But most of the times we're projecting on people what we put on ourselves. So because I do this, that's a preclusion from a whole host of other things that now I cannot do because I do this one thing. No, that's not how that goes. You know what I'm saying? So just a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of.
How did you overcome that right there?
If
you had to overcome it at all, like
I still have it. Like, look in the chat right now, like, yo, the guy with the glasses on. You know what I'm saying? When I did the Doggy Diamond interview, the one where I was talking about Wesley Muhammad, over there, killing folks with the white milk and the whole milk, white milk.
Yeah.
People was going crazy because me and Doggy had on shades. And I understand, like, we people that work online, so we're absorbing tons and tons of hours of blue light. So we have to protect our eyes. But when I seen that, I said, let me antagonize the fuck out of these people. So the next time I went on an interview, I had the sneakers on my neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, purposely to drive the people crazy. Like, they put a little fly in their suit. So it's just creating more of a conversation to get people from, like, it really doesn't matter if I had sneakers around my neck or if I had a snake, a fucking python around my neck. Like, I'm here to share information with you. So either the information is going to be good information or it's not going to be good information. But what I have around my neck is not going to change that information. But we've been trained a certain way. So we want to see a certain thing in order to validate the information. And a lot of that is the reason why we're stuck in the problem we're stuck in. Because somebody could put on a white jacket and tell you that a vaccine with coronavirus in it is healthy for you. At the same time, they're developing a cure for the coronavirus because they know it's not healthy for you. But because you don't know any better yourself, and because you're stuck in this mode where you're judging people by where they wear, the moment you see the white jacket, you're like, oh, this must be good information. So let me go ahead and inject myself with this crazy ass vaccine and inject my children with it. And then you turn around 6 months later, you jammed up, and you turn around. Now you come into the guys with the sweatpants and the t-shirts on, like, hey, y'all said y'all got that net. What was that herb? What was that detox? Where you got that? Oh, now you want to come talk to me with my glasses and sneakers around my neck. Now you want to talk with the man with the sneakers around his neck because you done went to folks and got jammed up. I thought that, you know what I'm saying? I thought didn't they all have college degrees? Didn't they all have white jackets on? Like, didn't they all have the approved modus operandi? So why aren't, you getting the results from these institutions? And if you're not getting the results from these institutions, why are you trying to put the norms that these institutions created on the people that are outside those institutions in order for you to be able to, operate inside those confines? You know what I'm saying? It's just like we have this conundrum. You know what I'm saying? We're putting ourselves in a conundrum. Right. You know what I'm saying? With this crazy
Dana, 11:30.
You know what I'm saying? So I try
jump down, jump into distress.
You know what I'm saying? I try to find creative ways to get people out of this same old thinking.
Right. So, what are the goals for this Soulcraft series?
Awake.
To take away the goals for you, what you want people to take away, things like that. What are you trying to reintroduce to our family?
The classic way of living, the classic way of critical thinking, getting back in touch with your ancestors, learning the actual definition of what it means to honor your mothers and your fathers. Honoring your mothers and your fathers is not like when their birthday comes around, you light a candle or some weird shit like that. It's making sure you keep the legacy going on. Now, if you want to also light a candle and, do a little ritual or something, that's cool. But that's meaningless if the other 364 days out the year, you're not living on the same, you're not continuing to build where they left off. And that's what we got to understand. We pyramid builders. How did sipping lean become our culture? How the hell does that happen? At what point did the pyramid builders sip lean? Because somehow nowadays, when you talk about the black culture includes sipping lean, going to jail, shooting, killing your own people. Like, how the hell did we go from pyramid builders? Like, where the hell did the culture? So maybe our people are so crazy that they think the people building the pyramids were sipping lean. Or maybe they under the impression, like, maybe they studying Brother Polite books. You know what I'm saying? Brother Polite said that the people built the pyramids was aliens. Now that's why these niggas are attacking, Africa now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's self-hate. You know what I'm saying? See, when the first groups of people start telling you that aliens built the pyramids, it's because they knew they didn't build the pyramids, and so they didn't want to ascribe that greatness to you. So they would skip over black folks and go right to aliens. Like, well, we know we didn't build the pyramids, so yeah, it couldn't have been you niggas. Stop that. So it must have been aliens that came down. Wait a minute, what? The pictures are inside the pyramid of the niggas that built the the niggas that built these motherfuckers. They put their pictures in there, and they left scrolls that have since been found with instructions on how they put them together. You do know that. So while you folks running around talking crazy about woo, now they have the whole construction site where they was putting the whole program. They found those documents. Like, no, it's no aliens. That's self-hate right there. Where we gonna say we obviously weren't. No, come on. So, you know, it's a lot of shit going around, floating around that's messing people's minds up that we got to correct and put some, you know what I mean? Put some correction on and put some real information out. So that's why I wanted to really put that out there. And then I didn't want to pull like no flim flam scam like your man, you know, Hidden Colors. You know what I'm saying? People like, yo, Enqi, why you just banging on everybody right now? I'm like, yo, I'm just sick of all this bullshit going around. To me, you know, everybody got their own opinion. But to me, you cannot ask me for a donation, okay? You cannot ask me for a donation to film a documentary. And then after you film the documentary that we paid for with our donation money, turn around and charge us $34.99 to see the goddamn movie we just paid for. Like, how the hell does that happen? We sent you the money to make the movie, then you turn around and charge us to see the motherfucker. So what kind of shit? This shit is crazy. So, you know, I just took my time with it. Like everything else, when I put the school in Detroit, I didn't ask for no money for that. I just did it. You know what I'm saying? Record label, opportunity. I didn't ask nobody to send me no money for the record label. I just did it. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with the documentary. I just carve out my time and I put it in, put the work in, and then let people know, hey, Cash App, $ Minister Enqi. If there's value, you know what I'm saying? I'm old school. I want you to taste the value first. You know what I'm saying? So you watch the documentary, you like the documentary, cool. Send me $5, $10, $20, you know, send me a couple dollars so I can keep this thing going. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I just wanted to make it a project for the people. I didn't want to charge it, you know, put a price on it or, you know, all that, you know, and it's doing really well. I think all of the videos are like 4,000 or 5,000 views a piece, something like that. So for me, that's really good. Natural views, like 4,000 or 5,000 natural views is good. Yeah, I really, you know, I'm really super over satisfied. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do chapter 5. You know what I'm saying? And chapter 5 was on because we got, you know, we didn't work to a point where we understand light. We understand what the elders were trying to communicate to us through the pyramid text, the Bible, the Quran, all of these. So we got the significance of light. So now it's time to really understand. And I worked through the anatomy of the body in terms of light and light processing, etc. So now it was time to understand how our body and the environment come together. And that you can't understand without really understanding sound and electromagnetic waves beyond visible light, which our body recognizes as music. And that's why our sense of hearing is much more in depth than our sense of sight. But we don't get that conversation. Our sense of hearing is more in depth than our sense of sight. So, for instance, give a prime example. If we have yellow light and what two colors make green? What is it? Yellow and all right. Red and blue make purple, right?
Right.
Red, blue. It's something else, I think. But anyway, when you see with your eyes, right? Like if you have different electromagnetic waves of different intensities, different frequencies, when they blend together, you only see the new color that they create. You can't see, your eyes can't separate the different colors. So yellow is yellow, red is red, but if yellow and red mix, you get, you know, whatever that mix is. You don't get all three. Your ears actually can separate all the waves, and that's the beauty, and that's what gives us music. Because if your ears weren't able to separate all the waves, a song would just be one long ooh. But when you listen to a song, you can hear every part of the beat, every instrument, every scratch. You can hear the spaces in between. You can hear the pauses, the breaks. You can hear the voice, the inflection, the cadence. You can hear all that. Your ears are much more sophisticated than we give them credit for. You know what I'm saying? And a part of that is the dumbed down, lack of understanding who we are, how we are, and our place in the universe. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to, that's my nature, to share all that information with the family. And, if they find the value, they'll share with me. Fair exchange ain't never been robbery. Send a nigga $5 and give me $20. Give me $20. I can't limit it. You know what I'm saying? I should say, give me $20,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me $50,000. Give me $100,000. I don't know who watching. You know what I'm saying? It might be a big girl watching. Like, yo, the boy spitting that fire, man. Let's get him a budget.
Right. So let's talk family, health, and translating these concepts, information to children. I know your children on deck. You understand what I'm saying? So let's talk to some parents and let's do some co-parenting right now.
Man,
you understand what I'm saying about how
this is what we're gonna have to do. We gotta do a part 2.
All right.
We gotta do a part 2 because that right there, that shit right there, this shit right here, that's a whole can of worms. You know what I'm saying? Like parenting. Like we just need to do a parenting show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Talk that parenting shit. You know what I'm saying? Because parenting is really just making a lot of mistakes, learning as you go, especially if you come from a broken home or you single parent home, or maybe it wasn't a single parent home, but it should have been a single parent home because your mother and father was at it like cats and dogs every day. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a process. You know what I'm saying? But I think the biggest thing with translating, you know what I'm saying, because I don't want to leave without giving some information on it, but I think the biggest thing to translating some of this stuff to our children is just understanding that they need the information as much as we did. So a lot of us make that mistake, like for instance with the diet. We'll sit around and soak up game for a year, 2 years, 3 years. We watching videos, we watching lectures, we soaking up information for a while before we actually make the transition and be like, you know what? Nah, I'm about to do this for real. You know what I'm saying? I'm really about to do this now. Bam. And then the moment we change our lifestyle or we attempt to, we want everybody in our house to be on the same page. Like, nah, I don't eat that no more. You shouldn't eat that.
Stop.
It's killing you.
Straight up.
Yeah, it just, man.
I threw all the food in the refrigerator in the fucking trash.
And people looking at you ready to have that neck. They like, what? Because they don't have the information. You didn't give them the opportunity to soak up the information with you the whole time you were soaking it up. So one of the things I do is I'm always like, I share with the, like, it's, you know what I'm saying? If I'm watching something that I think is deep on TV, we watch it together. Even if it's something that's ratchet, but it has jewels in it that I could point out, we sit there and we watch it together. I think it's important that you do that. So even a lot of you conscious, woke, I'm too good for this and that, you guys should be sitting at home and you should be watching Power with your children, right? Because street smarts and street survival is very important. Mm-hmm. A lot of us, though, we manage to do, not well, but we doing decent for ourselves. So we got our children. We like, oh, hell no, you ain't going to be exposed to the crazy shit I was exposed to. But then later on, when those children get to high school, they can't cope because they don't have the basic smarts to move around. Or they get to college and they go to a party and a fight break out. They wind up getting trampled in there because they don't know how to move around in them, So you should watch some of these shows in order to break them down and explain to your children, like, this is what the world looks like outside the bubble, because you want to create a safe, nurturing bubble for your children. But once they leave outside that front door, the bubble's popped. So
Right.
You kind of need to make sure your children's prepared for everything. And so when we having these combos, or like if I'm watching YouTube and woo, I'd be like telling my hey, get your buddy here and sit down and listen to this here with me. Come on, let's just like, Dad, I don't want to. You sitting here and listening to this. If you want to play Xbox, you're gonna give me an hour on YouTube, and then you got an hour on Xbox. You know what I'm saying? Even if this bored and their attention span is all over the place, it's all right. It'll soak in the back of their minds, and it'll accumulate. You know, at its own time, it'll kick in, because there was a lot of stuff that my dad, my uncles, and all that was telling me when I was young, and I just was like, man, this is I don't hear this shit. Like, what's later on in life, it became important. You know, some of that stuff was life-saving information. I might not even be here if I didn't listen to a lot of ridiculous, boring, long speeches, long lectures, and go into, you know, conscious, you know, this shit, and go listen to this nigga speak and all kinds of stuff you didn't want to do. But, you know, the community, you know, pushed it on me, and, you know, it just wound up being meaningful later on. So a lot of times, if what we're trying to deliver in terms of sharing information with our family, if we don't see it picked up and received immediately, we feel like it's a waste. You know what I'm saying? So it's just patience sometimes too. You know what I'm saying? So there's a couple key things. You know what I'm saying? But we can go into specifics. Like, we have a whole show, because I know people really want to know about the food and how do you get children to do this, that, and the other. And, you know what I'm saying? So it's a couple tricks to the trade we can go over.
All right.
Yeah, but I gotta go to bed, my bedtime. I gotta get
this last taboo little subject right here. You know, this the one everybody been waiting on. That's why I put it last in the title.
Hey,
conscious community controversy. Let's talk the controversy. The conscious community controversy. Let's
shit. There's so much of that. Where can we start with that?
Let's establish some roots. We came up in this place. You know what I'm saying? I don't play the so-called conscious. I'm not what you conscious people. I ain't what you I don't do that you niggas shit that you see a lot of these degenerates and these bums out here doing. Like, we was born and bred in here. We got scars to prove it. You just explain in, you know, nice language your sojourn and what you had to go through in order to qualify yourself to speak before anybody. You understand?
Now wait a minute. There's something that on that vibe. Don't lose that vibe. But I've been talking about that to people with the music. Some people understand what I'm saying, but I know for the most part, a lot of people is taken back. And I'm trying to tell people, I'm like, listen, we've just been being pimped and taken advantage of, this conscious community, because we don't have musical representation. When I say that, they're like, oh, but we got J. Cole and we got this guy and that guy. I'm like, when was the last time you was at a lecture and you seen J. Cole sitting next to you? What organization he came from? Was he with Farrakhan, or was he with Dr. York, or was he with, like, where the hell he came from? Was he with Ben? You know, was he with the Israelite? Like, where did he come from to qualify? Like, what? He's not a conscious rapper. He's a rapper that a lot of these guys, they couldn't do what the other rappers were doing. So they kind of just slipped into the conscious lane, but we don't know them. And we have to start asking for credentials from people the same way people from the streets do. If you tell somebody you was getting money in the street, they want to know when and where. Who can vouch for that? We got to do the same thing in consciousness. People are like, oh, yeah, well, I'm a conscious rapper. Oh, I'm Lupe. Whoa. What? I don't know what does that mean? You Lupe is, I'm like, they're like, yo, Lupe is, I'm like, bro, Lupe is not a conscious rapper. Where do you know him from? When the last time he was at, like, I don't know. Where's the daycare? I'm like, yo, these guys is not a part of the community. They don't have the stripes. And when you make your awakening, whether your parents was awoken and they raised you a certain type of way and dragged you to the events and you was the bad child at the lecture, sitting down, making noise, running around, or whether you had your awakening in your teens and your 20s, you know that you had a certain amount of hell to walk through to really be able to prop your chest out like, nah, I'm really living this lifestyle. Like, this is what it is. When you start dressing different and talking different and eating different and you got different places to go with different people, you deal with shit from your family, from your old friends, from your... So, nah, everybody shouldn't just be able to pick up that title and say, oh, yeah, well, I'm such and such. You know, I'm conscious now. I'm conscious now. Now I'm, you know, I'm such a... Get your ass out of here. You know what I'm saying? Get your ass.
I'm in too deep.
Man.
I'm in too deep.
Yeah.
Fuck out. Get the fuck out of here. That shit. You understand?
Stop this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that slows down our growth in the community. Because now people that really want to have that energy, they don't have to come amongst the community. They can just be Johnny come lately and pretend.
Right.
You know, have some nice, well put together bars, and niggas like, oh, yo, he said Dr. Ben on his verse. He's conscious. Get your ass out of here. Nigga, has he ever been to a Dr. Ben class? Has he read a Dr. Ben book? Does he really know who Dr. Ben is? Is he living any of the ideologies? Like, come on, guys. Like, I'm like, man, we gotta stop this shit. You know what I'm saying? So
this shit was Reservoir Dogs. That shit was Reservoir Dogs when the white boy was sitting down with that black cop, and that black cop was telling him how to tell his story because he couldn't tell the story. And he had to run it down. He's like, run it down. No, that don't make no sense. No. They're going to eat your ass alive. You walking in there with real killers. Nobody know you. Can't nobody vouch for you. Somebody might have made an introduction, and on the strength, you got it in. But it's a test. You fooled right now.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So he making it plain for him, as plain as possible. You got to tell him if it was shit on the store, whatever the case. Motherfuckers want to know in. You with real motherfuckers that put it in. You can't just come in and be like, yeah, you know, I just came home from jail.
Right.
I was like, niggas 21 Jump Street. You
ain't one of me. I know you ain't one of me. What do you mean you one of us? Like, what?
Yeah, man. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that shit.
Hey, look, wait, do you guys have up-to-date news cards? Like, what's happening right now? Where have you been active at? Are you active?
Right. Can anybody vouch?
And I'm just looking at guys. I'm like, wait. So guys is calling themselves conscious rappers. Then they making millions of dollars. And then what happens after that? Because we didn't know you. Then you pretended to be conscious. You used the banner, unintended. Then you make your little money, and then you ride off into the sunset. It's not even like after you put on the front, oh, I'm a conscious rapper, and then you make your career as a conscious rapper, then you get a little funds and resources. Then you come into the community and be like, all right, guys, come on, let me help y'all. Let me help y'all rebuild some of these bookstores, and let me, you know, come on, let's rebuild the 125 Mart or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get the guys off the street, damn it. Let's get a little location so the guys can, let's put some stores together, or you don't see none of that shit happen. And the reason is because they don't have to. They don't have to. It's just like when women used to hold out sex until they got married. Once you already smashed shorty and got babies out of it and all that, chances are you don't want to get married after that. You didn't already had everything. I mean, what? So guys get to run through the community and pretend to be conscious and make their money and have their fun and woo-woo. They're not getting ready to give back later on. No, that's initial. We supposed to exact that initially. As soon as somebody say, oh, I'm a conscious rapper. Hold on. Where are you conscious at? Where? Don't call yourself a conscious rapper. Knock that shit off. Just like calling yourself a gangster if you're not a gangster. If you was the kid in the neighborhood that was never in the street and you went to school and came home, when you start calling yourself a gangster, niggas gonna check you like, where you was a gangster at? What's that you belong to? We need to apply that same thing with consciousness. Like, oh, you conscious? From where? Who was your enlightener? Who you would defy the gods on the earth? Like who you with? Who you with? You with the Masons? You with the who? You know what? Where you at? Because we
Nigga,
got
who raised you?
right. We got
CK
people in every one of them organizations. So as soon as you tell us where you from, we'll be able to check that immediately. Like, hold on. Oh, you was with the gods and the earths in Atlanta? Hold on. I'm about to call my guy in Philly. He about to call Atlanta in 5 minutes. You sit right there. Hold tight. Hold tight. Let me get you together. And we'll figure that thing out quick. Because you know, conscious community small, but we everywhere. A nigga can't even say he's from Germany, and nigga be hold on, hold right there. Let me get you together real quick.
Right.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, well, okay. Okay, my bad, son. I ain't even know you was here. You know, yeah, okay.
Pull him out the trunk. Pull him out the trunk.
Yeah,
they said he good.
Exactly.
They said he good. Pull him out the trunk.
Get the duct tape off him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we do have to institute these type of, especially as the community grows. You know, we have to start somewhere, and there's no time like the present. We have to start setting boundaries. Like, listen, we want everybody to be awoke and conscious and be a part of the community. We need it. But we need you to come in here and pay some dues. You know what I'm saying? We want you to come support, sit down. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your resource is, you got to come. This is community. This is communal. You know what I'm saying? Coming on in here and get your butt on, get in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, figure it out. Go where you want to go, too. It ain't no, going over there with the Muslims or the nation or the God, like, go where you going to go. But be there. Don't just pretend and pop up and make little Instagram posts and videos and pose like you, like, nah, man, we got to stop that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. And this went on for so long that, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas getting passes left and right. And I'm like, yo, who's writing these passes? Who's the damn hall monitor? The fuck is, where's our hall monitor at? God damn it. So, I find myself in the hall pass, like, hey, where's your hall pass, damn it? Oh, where's your hall pass? Let me see your hall pass. Your ass late for class, man. Get your ass.
Yeah. And they're running into
though. I gotta wake up.
They're running into the fourth string. No PT. They on the team. They on the team on the sidelines in 4-piece suits. They ain't never playing.
Listen.
They getting league minimum. Stop going to the league minimum.
And we doing a part 2. I cannot let these suckers wake up before me. It'd be all anarchy in this house in the morning if the children wake up before me.
Well, you be tied up. They tie your ass up.
Man, cereal will be spilled all over the floor. It'd be peanut butter on the floor, all kind of foolishness. Almond butter in people's hair.
Hoodwinked and cable told about the neck.
Man. Divested of all intelligence.
That's it. Divested of all of it.
Like
acknowledgements, shout outs, what you got coming up in the near future, how people can find you, support you. Boom, what you pointing people to?
Listen, I need y'all to support the music. Right now, Rabbit Got the Gun, Artificial Intelligence is on all platforms. The album is coming. It's going to be on all the platforms. But share the stuff, like the stuff, thumb up the stuff. Share the videos to your social media. Like, listen, if we do this right and y'all help me to build this label up, then we have our own label for your daughters, your sons, or maybe you still in your creative bag, but we have our own label. We don't have to deal with no execs or none of that. Just me. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brother. You know what I'm saying? So, and Van is super. I wouldn't even let y'all deal with Van because he just will okay every goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. You know what I'm saying? Something that we can call our own, and we can really do our thing on a large scale. Because once you learn the mechanics of the music business, it really just comes down to money. And this is why the record labels function as banks. Their primary function is as a bank, right? So, but when you pool the resources of a community, you can do your own thing. You can fund your own, freedom. You can fund your own sovereignty or your own emancipation. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we have to do. We got to get that bag collectively, right? And so we put the hard work in. I got classic producers, you know what I'm saying? Not to diss any new guys that's trying to do their thing, but all of the guys that I got have music resumes, you know what I'm saying? So you talking about platinum and gold plaques going back from Jodeci up till 50 Cent G Unit, you know what I'm saying? Eminem, D2, like serious work, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure I brought you guys a real serious product, you know what I'm saying? Not just something that you could support because I'm conscious, you know what I'm saying? I want you to have music like that artificial intelligence. That artificial intelligence, that's for the birthday parties and the cookouts and the, you know what I'm saying, the wedding reception. You know what I'm saying? You got to put that artificial intelligence on and, you know what I'm saying, break out into that slide and that two-step. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's for those family events. You know what I'm saying? There's music on the album. It's a really good album. And you can live to it. You know what I'm saying? Work out to it. Ride to it. Oh, my God. You can ride to it. You can chief to it, roll up, blow, you know what I'm saying? You're vaping now, whatever you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got songs on there to do all of that too. And then it's a lot of stuff about real life and what we deal with and what we go through. So that's it. You know what I'm saying? And go watch the Soulcraft, God damn it, if you ain't watched it yet, because I don't want you to get the soundtrack if you ain't seen the damn movie. So get your life together. And I'm getting up out of here. I'll see you niggas on part 2.
I heard it.
Peace.
Yeah. Peace.